My first question I have for everybody here is, how many people out here are really happy? And I mean, you got to say you're thrilled, not with what, really thrilled with the United States Congress and the U.S. Senate and the presidency right now. Nobody. Interesting, there's usually 8% of the people that say yes. And we always wonder, where do they live? That's a hard thing. How many people in this audience think they could do a better job in the U.S. Congress than anybody up there right now? I'm not going to keep on until everybody raises their hand. Okay. You're Moreheads. You're supposed to be leaders, right? Well, there are a lot of people who are upset about what's going on in Washington, Raleigh, state legislature, and all that. But it's like, I guess it was Mark Twain that said people complain about the weather, but they never do anything about it. Well, we have got a way to do something about it, and it's called the Institute for the Public Trust. And let me walk through this, because I think this is really not anything that I'm doing. This is something I hope will involve everybody in this room, because we're all going to be part of the solution. And you'll see it after we get through it a little bit. Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry. The Institute for the Public Trust is a Jeffersonian word. We lifted it directly from him. The sun up there is a takeoff of a comment by Benjamin Franklin at the Constitutional Convention, who saw the sun on the back of the chair that George Washington was sitting in the whole summer. And at the end, after they signed it, he said, you know, I've been wondering whether that's a rising or a setting sun. Well, we think it's a rising sun, but we got a little bit of faded rays here, which means that we don't have really good representation. So y'all can be part of the solution. Okay, here's the question. How many Morehead-Cains have been in high elective office in the United States over 55 years? Anybody care to guess? Okay, here's 6. Anything else? There have been about 2,900 graduates. You think there should be about 300 or 400, don't you think? Okay, this is people who have ever just run, not won, but have even run. Whoops, 7, and that's an ROI of 0.23%. Now, this is not the fault of the Morehead program. They'd love to come up here and say, we have 50 governors, we've got 100 senators, but this is where we are. David Price, who was here last night, is he here today? You ought to shake his hand for serving as long as he has. Congressman Price, Robin Britt served for a term. Jim Cooper was a Morehead and a Rhodes Scholar, and he chose to serve. And Mike McIntyre, who's in a really tough race right now, they've all served and got elected. Mayor Vinroot of Charlotte ran for governor twice. Now, Mayor Vinroot, who those of y'all who don't know him, he's also one of the lead partners of Robinson, Bradshaw, and Henson. He's kind of busy, but he was mayor of Charlotte for about 3 terms, ran for governor twice, spent all that time trying to get elected, and he ran for the U.S. Senate for about 10 minutes before Elizabeth Dole got involved, but at least he ran. And this is the most shocking statistic of it all. I ran in 1978 when I was 28. I got 64,000 votes and thought I had done great, but I got creamed. I got beat 2-1. No one told me that you shouldn't run from Durham if you're a Republican. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention. But anyway, I'm the only Morehead scholar to have ever run for Congress as a Republican. I know there are other Republicans somewhere along out here. Now, Jennifer Roberts, I'm going to pick on the women here. She's the first female Morehead to ever run for Congress, and she's running this year. Okay, women. Now, look. Okay, good for her, except for what about the rest of you? You got something to do. That's been 30 years. Let's go. No Moreheads ever had the confidence to run for the White House. I can't believe that after some of the Moreheads I've known. I would think that they'd have. Wow. Okay, let's just pick on some other schools. How about Duke? We think that there's one A, B, or B in Duke scholar who's ever run for Congress, but they don't know for sure. So, Robertsons, they've only been around a little while. I think there might be some might do it one day. Right now, we can't find a Morehead who's serving in the state legislature. Mr. Jefferson, right now, is he still there? Okay, 1. Good. Okay, we can't find a Jefferson scholar in Congress who's ever run. Mr. Jefferson wouldn't be too happy about that. Terry Belk scholars at Davidson, none. At one time when I was out there with Congressman McMillan, there were 4 Darden MBAs. serving. There were none from the public policy school at UVA. And I just throw this out here right now. There's 7 Duke alums because it drives them crazy. There are 5 Republicans up there and 2 Democrats. They can't figure out how that happened. So the big question we have right now is what in the world's going on where the best and brightest don't run for higher public office? We're supposed to be leaders. That's leadership. I'm glad you said that. No, I'm glad you said that. Are you too smart? Who said that? Who said it? Raise your hand. Who said that? Okay. Are you smarter than this guy who said this? I decide I must run the risk of the side of law and justice. That was Socrates. He served, right? Okay, if he's not too smart to do his duty, who else is too smart to run for public office? This guy's not a graduate. Does anybody know who he is? He's congressman from Texas. Honestly. He's a Republican, so I can pick on him. Everybody thought it was his father. It's amazing how they kind of look a little bit alike. Okay. Anyway, what we're trying to do is find more people to run for office. And this is what happened in the original Constitutional Convention. Look at the Virginia delegation. There were some brainy people there. Reasons why people don't run for Congress, public office: don't want the media to get in my personal life. I don't want to take a pay cut. I don't want someone to know I smoked pot in college. I don't want to put my family through it. Nobody does. I have a business, a practice to run. We all do. I don't want the media to get in my personal business. There's kind of a recurring theme here. I don't like to compromise. Don't get married. I don't know the issues well enough. I don't want the media to get in my business. And I'd rather sit on the sideline and hope someone else does it, but that ain't happening. So Plato says one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. It's a little bit snooty, but it's true. The Institute for the Public Trust is something we've set up to help everybody in this room run for public office. We train people all across the state. We're getting ready to go into Virginia and Tennessee. I can talk to you more about it later. But we need more Moreheads to run for public office because our country's future depends upon it. And I can talk to you more about it later.